Hello, and welcome to The Dogfight, a podcast dedicated to the London Spitfire and Overwatch League. Fasten your seatbelts and observe the no smoking sign, because today we'll be discussing Sato's suspension, Blizzard's ruling about pro pugs, and a bit more of an in-depth look at the Spitfire's match against the Gladiators, as well as probably some other tiny topics filtered in there. Let me first introduce our lovely panel. We have CJ.
Hello.
Jive Turkey.
Hello, hello.
Do you have another name, or should we just call you Jive?
Jive works fine.
Okay, that's pretty groovy. We have Jordan.
Hey, what's up?
And we have Zoey.
Hello.
Yes, hello friends. Nice to be with you all.
Heck yeah.
Well, let's. I hope we're all excited to dive into all of these really great topics.
I still can't believe that the Overwatch League is 2 days away from me getting to see.
I'm so excited.
I know, it's
We're so
unbelievable.
close.
It's gonna be huge. I'm
Man,
very
a
excited.
year and a half of just waiting on nothing. It's finally around the corner.
Past few weeks have just been announcement after announcement after announcement.
It's been pretty nice, honestly. I mean, I really am excited for this.
Yeah, as someone who really likes news, it's been pretty entertaining.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of news, we got skins.
Skins for wins!
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, Blizzard announced that they would be rolling out home-based skins for the Overwatch League teams coming early 2018. You actually get it different from loot boxes, which is the interesting thing. You get these little tokens, and if you have enough tokens, you can buy a skin. And another cool thing is it's contributed to a pool that is evenly divided between all the teams, I believe. So buying a skin for one team is basically helping out all of the teams. And it's a pretty cool deal. What is everyone's thoughts on this interesting form of capitalism?
I'm really excited about this just because some of the teams, I'll admit I'm not a big fan of the color schemes for a lot of the teams, but some of them look really cool.
You gotta get those McDonald's skins. You have to.
I'm just
I'm glad I'm not the only one that thinks that.
Yeah, I'm just excited to rep my team, rep my city.
A little bit disappointing there's no away jerseys. Some of the
Yeah.
best looking ones are actually the away ones.
Yeah,
So
because I think the predominantly white color scheme, with just the subtle highlights, it looks good. It looks clean.
Yeah, I can understand why they wouldn't put it into the game. Probably hard to differentiate, but still, a little bit disappointing. Probably a lot more work for them as well.
Yeah, probably.
One important thing to note is that if you log in the first month when they start rolling this out, you'll be automatically given enough tokens to buy one skin for one hero of your choosing. So that's going to be pretty big. Which one's going to be the first one for you guys? I'm a Tracer main. I'm going to pick Tracer, of course, to be my first pick. But who are you guys going to be picking for your first skin?
I think
Reinhardt.
Oh yeah, the London Reinhardt skin actually looks
It's a
super
very
sick.
good one.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go Roadhog. I just want that big logo on the stomach. Put it in there.
Oh,
I
that would
really
be
like
so
how they
cool.
did that.
Yeah.
I would want a Diva skin, but I have the
actually really
police
like
one,
that.
so that's kind of hard to beat. I like to zoom around and just yell "Stop resisting" as I'm shooting someone.
Actually, no, now I'm thinking about it. I don't think we've seen Diva in Overwatch League skin yet.
No, we've
Have
seen
we?
her for the Dynasty.
We have seen her for
Oh,
Dynasty.
yeah.
That's right. We have seen her for Dynasty.
That one's
Yeah, because
really
she's
good.
she's not in a lot of the promotional pictures. Actually, her mech isn't. So
Yeah, I
forgot
wish
that
they
she
I wish
was,
they just had a picture with all of the heroes in each team's thing instead of just a few. It's really
Yeah.
annoying.
Yeah.
Also, can I just say, I really prefer the token thing over having these added into the loot boxes, just because
Yes.
as long as I get the tokens at a reasonably steady clip, it will cut down on my frustration in opening a loot box and getting 4 dupes.
I know. Grinding for event skins with those event loot boxes
Oh,
is
it's
an
brutal.
utter
Yeah.
nightmare.
That's the next event's coming up soon. Actually.
I'm just
So-
hoping I could just buy these outright. I don't want to spend all this
That's
time.
what it
I
is.
think
grinding it out.
That's
that's
what it
what I
seems
think.
like.
I think
That
they're
would be
making
ideal.
it a separate system so you can just buy them without having to try to do some weird randomized thing. So
yeah,
you
hopefully
can,
there's
you can,
no RNG involved either. With
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
unlucky and get a mercy skin this time around.
I
Please
think it's
no mercy
officially.
skins.
I think it's structured that you buy whatever skin you want. Like in the video that they made for it, they're pretty particular on that. Something that was brought up. I forgot who exactly brought it up when I was looking on Reddit for sure, looking at all the topics. They brought up the idea of having Twitch integration since some people might not be aware that Twitch and Blizzard have an exclusive deal. So all the games have to be streamed exclusively on Twitch. If there's like some type of promotion that if you're watching the games, you can get maybe a token drop or something. So that's an
Oh.
incentive to
That is
watch.
also sick.
That would be a great idea. I mean, not only would it get more viewers, but it's a good way to get those tokens in a way that integrates the real fans.
Oh, for
So
sure.
that was just an idea.
Yeah. I mean, Monkey Brain liked getting free gift.
It would be disappointing if they didn't do it, to be honest. It just drives in
Yeah.
so much viewership.
Yeah,
you look
yeah,
at other
for sure,
games
for
like
sure.
CSGO, Rocket League. I mean, just look at Rocket League, for example.
don't they do
Maybe
that?
70% of their viewership is just people looking for loot, just to get their rewards and whatnot.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's the
I see
same
chat
thing with,
spamming the word, like every
Counter-Strike.
5 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't matter to advertisers, you know? You're still getting 70k views a stream. You're still getting 100k views a stream. Who cares if half the entire watching base is just there for the rewards?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they just care about the views. They don't really care as much about, like, how long they're watching or if they actually care what they're watching as much. Another thing is, do we think that eventually they'll move on to maybe putting in player icons, sprays? I think they will eventually.
Yeah,
That'd
for
be
sure.
a
Probably
great way
will.
to rep.
Spray seems like a good idea.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, player icons is like, I kind of get it a bit more, but sprays for sure, especially the logo.
Yeah, we kind of see that in Counter-Strike already, and I think it could go very, very
Yeah.
well in Overwatch.
Yeah.
I'm
But-
still just waiting for you to be able to like mix and match weapons from different skins, like have the grief heart.
yeah.
hammer
Oh
on
yeah, that would be so good.
That's what I've been waiting for.
Blizzard, if you're
But,
listening,
Mhm.
send us the
Although-
money and we can give you more of these sweet ideas.
Yeah,
Blizzard.
this is some next level fucking thinking here.
Exactly.
Pay for our sponsorship. Just put
Yes,
a
please.
big...
Sponsor
The
us.
Dogfight podcast brought to you by
Yeah,
Blizzard
and,
Entertainment.
And speaking of Blizzard and hammers, see the segue there.
Oh,
nice one, nice
My
job.
game.
I like
You're
it.
beating
This
me
is-
at all these
Smooth.
segues.
This is coming from like being a TV host for 2 years at college.
Oh, it shows. It
Oh,
shows.
there you go.
Yeah,
The stuff we do in college.
yeah. Blizzard putting the hammer down, banning pro pugs to be shown on streams.
Yeah,
This
It's
is
massively disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is a hot
There was a
button issue.
rumor.
It's just so
um,
short-sighted.
This is all span from a rumor that came out earlier this week that they, the first original rumor is that they were going to ban them outright, that you weren't able to do them at all.
yeah, and now it's they can only have 2 people per stack.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't queue on stream with more than 2 people in OWL.
I
Which-
think that seems extremely limiting because viewers like responded super positively to this pug thing because
It's not. It's like seeing the friggin' Justice League of Overwatch.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
mixing and matching,
It's like having
yeah.
a
And I don't
fantasy
think
team,
it takes
you know,
viewers
playing...
away from regular games either.
Oh
I
no,
don't
no,
think
of
so.
course not.
No.
I think if
I mean,
anything,
I could see it more that they put this rule down during, maybe during preseason time or during season time.
Yeah, I
But
could-
right now, before everything starts, it's kind of like, I mean,
it's an
it
appetizer.
really matter
you know?
that
it's
much.
It's an appetizer. It's like the gaming mozzarella sticks. It's just put out there on the table. You can enjoy it if you want, and it's just gonna get you more hype for the awesome stuff to come.
Yeah, for sure,
and
for sure.
I mean, the big thing of this is football has a huge fantasy league. That's half of playing. Football is knowing about your fantasy team. So Overwatch League could have that, and this could play into that. But now that, it's being limited, that kind of takes away that.
Yeah,
I mean,
and like I can get teams not wanting their players to be doing these streams, just because like you don't necessarily want your players to use some of the tactics you've been developing in a scrim just because it's like drilled into their head at this point. And you don't want to necessarily give away what your players are capable of, what what you've been coming up with in the lab. You don't, I can understand teams not wanting their players to be doing these pro pugs because other, high level pros like this will be thinking and analyzing and potentially, recognize stuff in an OWL game if they see it in a pug.
You already see that happening with... oh, I'm sorry, keep going.
No, I was just saying, but I can't think of a reason why Blizzard as a whole would come down on it.
Maybe eventually might come back, but...
I hope so. You already see it happening with Boston Uprising. They actually haven't been allowed to play any scrims on stream.
Yeah, and if that's a team thing,
off
that's,
stream. Yeah, it's understandable if your org doesn't let you to do it. But if I was a player, I'd be furious about this. Because first off, it just limits your growth.
It seems limiting, and it just means like,
this is a big
guys I've known for ages and I love playing with them. I have to like pick and choose. I gotta be.
Yeah. Also, it grows your stream. It grows your brand, your own personal brand. It's not all about Blizzard. It's not all about your team.
Shall we?
You gotta grow yourself as well.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of an overstep. But
yeah, it's Blizzard trying to be controlling, and they're doing too much here.
Mm-hmm. I think I can agree with that.
In CS:GO, there's already rank S. I mean, all these players play together. All the pros, they already pub together. So why can't Overwatch?
And I think another argument for the pugs is that a lot of people were bringing up that this is also freeing up the rank ladder. So now, if I was that good enough to be at a high level, I wouldn't have to worry about playing against Jake or Agilities or one of the Spitfire players that just got into LA like last week. I wouldn't have to worry about that because everyone's playing in these pug games and just practicing with other people at their level. Now maybe I could be the top dog instead.
Claim your place.
It's a shame how terrible ladder is at the moment, though.
Yeah, for sure.
God.
I deserve to be number one, and the fact that I am not is a complete and utter failure of the system.
I think something that might actually come out of this is, if you notice, XQC said he didn't call out Mumu, who he declined all the rumors that pugs are banned or whatnot, but he said he's not wrong, but they're doing changes to pugs, so.
Yeah, he did say that.
So there's a little bit uncertainty here still on the topic. But what I think might happen is I think if people don't know, Facet's already involved with Blizzard into, Overwatch Open? I believe
it was
Open Season
open.
3.
Yeah.
And they have, it's in closed beta, but they have a pug system up. So hopefully, maybe sometime soon they get the pug up and running and it's available to everybody. And maybe that might be the change coming, but it's anybody's guess at this point.
Yeah, we'll just have to see. Moving on to probably an even spicier topic, is that Sato, a player for the Philadelphia Fusion, aka the Philadelphia Dumpster Fire, has been suspended for the preseason and the first 30 matches for account boosting. Is this punishment sufficient enough, or should Blizzard do more? Should they do less? Is this properly setting an example for their Overwatch League brand?
I'm of two minds on this, I think... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry, I was about to say, didn't Sato have problems, or not problems, but wasn't he controversial even before?
Oh, yes, for
he
sure.
signed on?
Yeah, he's toxic.
I think he's had problems in the past. People have brought
so,
it up.
didn't they sign him on knowing that there was something?
Apparently not.
He's pretty notorious in the Korean scene for the account boosting.
I mean, it's not even going to matter. The United Nations team that is Philadelphia isn't going to do anything in Overwatch League. So having Sato out for 30 games doesn't really matter in that term.
They do have a big roster. I will say, if this was a team like Miami, it would be over. I have no idea what they would possibly do. They can't at this point. They're just not signing. So I'm like, if it was a team like Miami, what the heck would you do? At least Philadelphia, I think has don't they have the largest roster or one of the largest?
They don't have 12 players. I think they have 10, maybe
10 at least.
Yeah,
that's still a decent size. So
oh yeah, for sure.
That large roster saved them, or slightly saved them, as we'll get into later.
I will say, to me, Sato being banned opens the door for one of, I think, the mistakes Philadelphia made in their signing process, which is they signed Fraggy but not Zappis. Fraggy and Zappos were both on Gigante, the winners.
Oh yeah,
of,
everyone loves Gigante.
Yeah, winners of Overwatch Contenders Season 1. They're like veterans of the old NIP org that they've been playing
huge fan
Overwatch.
following.
Yeah, they've got huge fan followings. They've got this great established chemistry. They, have a proven track record of success working together. And also, Zappos was the shot caller for Gigante. He's a big part of that team's success, and I think choosing Sato, who is kind of notorious in the Korean scene for this account boosting thing, and you can look at the response from like Korean pros and coaches on you can look at their response to Sato to see just how mad they are about this, but the fact that they signed Sato over Zappos, that I think is a mistake, and maybe this is a chance for them to fix that, kind of shore things up for them a little bit.
Maybe.
See,
I think it depends.
Yeah.
Though I do want to get into now the Korean response to Sato, because
they were ripping in.
the Korean scene is furious.
Oh, I do not blame them one bit.
Really? It seems...
Like, account
seems
boosting
harsh.
is a huge problem the response that... You have to sort of understand the pro gamer scene in Korea, where pretty much people... It's not too dissimilar to what we have here in North America and Europe. People will boost accounts for money, but this person, Sato, was a notorious booster, and this was not like someone who, boosted his friends one day just to,
No, he took money for it.
He took money for it. He was doing this for profit. And the Korean scene, when this is about to be illegal, is just absolutely furious about this. And I can't blame them for it.
But
I
don't
don't
you
either.
think... He got a 30-game ban. How much more would you want? Do you want an entire year?
I don't want an
Do you want
entire
60
year.
games?
I think the suspension.
An interesting fact to note is that there was a similar situation that happened in League of Legends. There was I think he's a junk. No, he's top laner. There was a player by the name of Xiaowei Xiao, and he got banned for a year for boosting, and he hasn't been in the pro scene since.
Honestly, I think 30 matches or the season ban would have been totally reasonable in my mind. To me, this isn't a Blizzard problem necessarily, though, so much as it is Philadelphia Fusion either not doing their homework enough on Sato and just, seeing his performance in their tryout or whatever and being really impressed and not, looking into his sort of track record and, looking into the guy. I think
maybe
it's
more... Or maybe they looked into it and they thought, okay, this isn't going to be a problem. We can cover this up.
Yeah, they either didn't know or didn't care. And either way, that's kind of negligent and shitty.
Yeah, it's kind of inexcusable, especially when you're like one of the premier Overwatch League teams, and you're doing you can't, this directly affects your brand. You can't be doing stuff like this. But I guess that's a good transition on over to talking about our next topic, which is discussing the Philadelphia Fusion in general.
I'll talk about this in a second, but found some other info when it comes to that. But yep, the big news has come out between Fusion that they are actually not going to be participating at all in the preseason. So that happened today.
Oh god, that's unbelievable.
And also, unfortunately for Houston fans, Mendo also cannot participate in the preseason. So it's not just Fusion, technically.
Well,
even though it's for different reasons, but they both cannot.
And isn't Bidosian not playing in the preseason as well?
Yeah, Bidosian is stuck in Korea as well. I think all the other Spitfire players are in LA except for Bidosian.
Yeah.
I mean, just trying to get this roster, all the visas just looks like a disaster.
It sounds like a logistical nightmare.
Yeah,
I'm surprised
you got
we've
Russia, you got Israel, Korea. It's
Russia,
France,
Israel, Korea, Sweden,
Finland, Britain, Canada, and Spain. I mean, you have the entire United Nations there.
I mean, for a lot of these shouldn't be a problem, especially
Brazil,
with
too.
Canada and, France and the UK. You can get visas pretty easy. But,
Yeah.
For the rest of them, I can understand they're having a problem with the visas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's... I do... it does kind of keep in line with that whole larger trend of visa issues, because there are a bunch of visa issues during the World Cup. Tonic, who was main tank for 1-2-3 during Contender Season 1, he was not able to secure a visa to play with his team. So that was kind of a kick in the pants. And it does kind of make the Overwatch League look a little bit Bush League, and I mean, it's a young organization that's definitely not as well respected as, like, older esports orgs. They don't necessarily, maybe have the same money or connections or whatever. I'm speculating, but it makes them look a little bit Bush League. I don't think it's going to be I think, it's enough egg in their face that they're really going to try and improve this going forward. Like, I think they're going to work their asses off to make it no longer an issue, but it's kind of rough.
Well,
It's unsurprising it comes from a traditional sports team either. Like, if this was the Fuel or something, it would be a little bit more surprising, but these people have no experience handling stuff like this.
Regardless of what the cause was, this is just extremely amateur from Philly. This was available, months in advance. They should have at least been able to get a full squad over here in time, but it appears they didn't have that. So
Apparently, according to a comment on the huge thread on competitive Overwatch Reddit, the owner of Misfits, can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Alicus?
Apparently,
Former
he said
owner.
Apparently his direct quote was like, they didn't see the immediate need for hiring a GM or general manager and figured their coach would handle all the logistics.
Real short-sighted.
Yeah, granted, that's not 100% confirmed. The head coach actually, he ended up actually commenting back on that thread. There's like a back and forth between them.
yeah, Kirby is a bit weird.
Yeah, there's a back and forth between them on that, So that's not 100% confirmed, but if that's the case, that makes a lot of sense for why this fell through. And on the flip side, as I mentioned at first, that Menduska also from Outlaws cannot compete. Also because of another visa error. It's not the same type of visa error, it's visa error, it sounds like. He has the visa itself, but there's some complications between it that sounds a little bit different. It sounds like Fusion doesn't have their visa at all, or, maybe not at all, or not even close.
Yeah, they haven't said much, so it's hard to say. The details are very scant, and hopefully more will come out in the future, but this is not a Philadelphia Fusion podcast. This is a London Spitfire podcast. And so, transition again. With
let's move on.
Expert segue.
We probably skewered
drama.
Philadelphia Fusion enough.
We have. So, let's move on. I'm so excited to say this. We have, our first Overwatch League matchups happening later this week. And the Spitfire is going to make their debut against the LA Gladiators. We'll talk about, who is going to be, who we think is going to win this. But right now, I think we got to talk about some of the key factors in this. And I know this is going to sound a little, I feel like on the LA side, you've got to look at Surefour, Asher, and Hydration. Like, I'm really confident, like, maybe this is the Gigante fan in me, but I love, Shaz and Big Goose as the support duo. I think this is going to be a real test for the DPS and tank line of Gladiators, because, Bishu and Remix, they're coming off of Kungarna. Kungarna is, a team that performed well in, like, minor tournaments, but on like the big scene, on a big stage against other sort of top tier NA teams, they've historically not performed really well. And this is, Bishu and Remix kind of have to prove themselves here against a lineup of what I would call, like, the number 1 and number 3 team in Korea, the Frankenstein's monster of destruction is the London Spitfire lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of focus is definitely going to be put on Sureforce. He's probably basically like the face of their team, since he's such a popular player in general, and he's very good. He can play a lot of champions. I've been watching him ever since he was just on Cloud9.
Oh, he's definitely a guy you can build a roster around, for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's great with Pharah. He's great with Soldier. He's great with Tracer. He can play all of the big heavy hitters. I think the question is, will Sureforce be able to maneuver around enough and actually make a dent into the Spitfire team?
Yeah, and you gotta also like look at Asher and Hydration, because Asher, was on Kanbok Spirit, a team that really didn't, they've been in Apex for a while, in the top tier Korean tournament, but they never really made like a name for themselves. So I can't say with too much certainty what I think Asher is going to be able to do here. And Hydration's really, really terrifying on Pharah. He's really good at what he does. But the thing is, you've got, on the London Spitfire side of things, you've got Birdring, Rascal, Prophet, and Hureg. What do you do against that DPS lineup other than just cry? Because
I don't know.
I can't think of a weakness they have.
Insane.
Yeah.
Prophet is insane. I think Hureg's a little underrated. His Soldier and McCree play is pretty good. But in Rascal, you've also got someone who can take to the skies and go toe-to-toe with Hydration in the air. Rascal has been known consistently as like one of the top Pharahs in Korea. And not just that, but if you're Hydration and you're in the air as well, you don't just have to worry about Rascal and Hureg and probably Prophet, depending on what you've stuck him on. But you've also got Havokpus, who, he's good with those right clicks. He's scary with those right clicks, as Zenyatta. And he's just as capable of taking your head off.
Yeah, it may come down to just probably a battle between supports and seeing who can keep their team alive the longest.
Yeah, and I think that's also going to be, if I'm Spitfire, I really want to see them, throw their weight around on this, because I feel like you've got the superior DPS lineup. And I also feel like you have Gesture and Fisher. They're two of the best Winstons out there.
I think they're the two best Winstons probably in the world right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Fisher,
don't think Nero can lay claim to that
Plus,
title.
he's very handsome. Fisher is very handsome.
He's a good-looking guy. He's dreaming. So, yeah, you've got this incredible tank line, and you've also got Fury and Wuhyal that can come in. I think, Spitfire, on paper, has all the tools. They've got some of the top guys in the world on every single position. And it's gonna be, a real fight for this LA Gladiators roster. And I think a lot of it is gonna come down to Sureforce. And I think, Bishu and Remix, especially, they're gonna have to pull something out of their back pocket that I've not seen before.
I think the Gladiators are just going to get bullied around left and right.
I think so.
I don't
too.
think they can hang with this team. They're too good. They're stacked up and down. I mean, just look at the DPS lineup alone. Do you run Prophet or do you run Birdring? You have no clue.
Oh,
they're
run
both proficient.
I'd run. I personally would run Prophet because, look
I
at
think
the
so, too.
Because look at the
His
the
Tracer
Kong
seems
dude
just
and GC.
unstoppable.
Yeah, no,
He's the
it's
most up and coming player in OWL, I think.
it's an effect-like level of dominance. Like,
Yeah, effect
It's-
in NA levels of dominance for sure.
well,
I mean, they're playing NA
Apex
now,
Season
so-
3? Because Apex was smoking every other Korean Tracer.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I
But-
think Hydration's going to be a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, I
think
I
people
remember watching
underrate
Hydration on
Yeah.
on CLG. I remember watching that and thinking this guy really deserves to be on a better team.
Oh yeah,
and
no,
maybe
he was the hard carry.
Oh man, it was
Yeah.
Hydration and the trash cans. There was nobody
yeah,
else.
there
on
was
that
no
team.
one else on that team. It was literally just the Hydration show all the way through.
Yeah, he was the hard carry on that team, I feel. Well, Silk Thread.
Well, so
Yeah,
Silk
he came
Thread
in
too.
for a little bit.
Yeah.
Silk Thread boosts anybody up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta show some love to Silk.
I don't think Hydration's going to make the starting lineup though.
I
Because
Really?
my understanding is, I think because he's only going to play the projectiles mostly. So if they run a Junkrat comp or a Fair comp, he might be in there. But for the
Well-
most part, I think they're going to run Asher and Surefour.
well, here's the thing: Asher and Surefour. I think Asher might end up. I think you're gonna see Asher and Hydration in equal amounts, just because Hydration has like, because Asher and Surefour have a lot of hero pool overlap. Like a lot of the stuff you'll see coming out of Asher are characters that Surefour runs very, very proficiently. So it's hard to say, and I think, I think maybe if I'm Gladiators, I do want to try and run that pharmacy, just to try and throw Spitfire off, because you don't see a tremendous amount. You see more pharmacy in NA than you do in Korea.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think maybe, they'll start with Hydration in an attempt to sort of, like, put Spitfire on the back foot, just throw an unfamiliar element, or at least unfamiliar. I'm sure they're going to be practicing, fighting a pharmacy. Spitfire will.
Yeah,
But,
actually, speaking of unpredictable element, I can't remember the exact phrasing you said. My mind blanked for a second, but I want to ask, are we going to expect a lot of Moira? She seems incredibly strong, just in the amount of time she can build her ultimate seems to be incredibly hard to deal with.
Hasn't Closer been playing? Hasn't
I
Closer
think so.
been playing Moira?
He
I
made
think
a little
Closer has been
video
playing
about it.
Moira.
So.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be too shocked to see the Moira.
I don't think anybody's going to really pull it out seriously. I think they're just going to try it out, see if it works out for them. Because I look at all the supports, and I think Zen is still the strongest. Lucio's still up there. The only one I really think she beats out is maybe Anna.
Yeah.
I still think
I mean,
Mercy's
maybe
too
we'll
strong.
start. I mean, this is preseason. We can start to experiment around this comps with this new patch. So hopefully we get to see maybe some Moira. I don't think she'll be run too much, but hopefully we'll still get to see her.
Yeah.
I think on more death ball comps, more triple tank comps, they might pull it
you
out
get
more
some,
often.
because you
I
do
think
get
we'll,
some splash with her healing.
Yeah.
I still think we'll see our favorite lady, Mercy, out there for
Oh,
sure.
we will.
I
Still.
think people
Our
underestimate
favorite
how
babe.
often she will be out there. I think she's
Especially
going
on
to be
the
there
team.
a lot, especially on
Oh
defense.
no, yeah, she's
Yeah.
Defense and 2CP, if she's not 100% pick rate on 2CP, I'll be a little bit surprised.
Yeah.
Oh, so will
She
I.
just
I
seems
mean,
so
even
strong.
even with
I
the
don't know what I'm
nerfs,
doing wrong when I
the
play
res
her,
is too
'cause, like,
valuable.
her nerf feels really heavy to me, still. But everyone else seems fine with it, so it might just be me. But anyways, I think we'll see her a lot anyways.
So, I guess from now, shall we talk about our picks for the announced Overwatch League preseason matchups to sort of close things out?
Oh yeah. Thanks for reminding me, because
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think the first one might be a fail because it's Misfits against, or I'm sorry, Mayhem against Fusion. So
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
no, it's Mayhem against Shock now. Shock is pulling
Oh.
double
Yes, San
duty
Fran. Yes.
Yeah,
San
yeah,
Fran.
Mayhem
they're
against
playing
Shock.
two
Shock
games.
are doing
Yeah.
double duty.
back to back against Mayhem and Valiant. And I'm sorry, but I think Shock is probably going to go down.
I will
He's
say
gonna
it'll be a
start
really good test.
as
You'll be
OD.
able to see how much they can keep their momentum. That's what's really. It'll push
Yeah.
them to the test. If they do well, then that's gonna show how strong they are. But
Until quintuple DPS meta is a thing, I don't think they're gonna be winning a whole lot.
Yeah, I think, Mayhem's definitely going to have, like, a synergy advantage just because that lineup has played together for a long time and knows each other pretty damn well. And, they looked good. They, in Contenders, they very nearly won the whole thing.
yeah,
But you do have to look at that X Factor, which is Mayhem, or Misfits as they were previously known, has always choked.
Oh yes, that.
Logic is the biggest culprit in that.
Yeah. So that's the thing, we might see the Misfits curse rear its ugly head, in which case, yeah, I think Shock is going to win. But, like, Shock to me, They have a super stacked DPS lineup. You got IDDQD, Dante, Sinatra, Nevix, Baby Bay. Holy crap. That's awesome.
Can Sinatra even play preseason?
No, I don't
no.
think so.
No, not yet.
Yeah, I didn't think
Neither
Sinatra
can,
could even play.
Neither
Who
can
is-
Super.
Yes, that's the guy.
Which, that's the
think
thing that kills me, because Super is so much better than no.
I think it's their two
Yeah.
best players.
Yeah. The two best players, the wee babbies, are not, unfortunately, able to play.
I think it's going to be just the easy 3-1 for Mayhem.
I think I'd even say 3-0. Unless they start to choke, at which point it's going to snowball in favor of Shock. At
I
which
believe
case,
it's going to be the same way as contenders, and they
Oh, yeah,
play,
4-0, 4-0,
4, yeah.
I could see it as a 4-0, or I could see, it as a close 3-1 in favor of Shock if the Misfits curse. Like, Mayhem picks up the first one, and then they start to lose steam and come close on a bunch of points, but ultimately fall short. That's my expectation. Going to the next matchup, Shock versus Valiant.
Same.
Valiant
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure.
Yeah.
Valiant.
I think it's
who
even going to
can't
be
play
more
on
of a
Valiant?
bashing.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Agilities
for
can?
sure,
Easy.
for sure.
I think Agilities
Valiant's
can't play
roster
on
is so
Valiant.
stacked.
Oh, how come?
I think he's
I didn't hear
underage.
about this.
I think he's
Is he?
underage.
I don't
I
think
think
he
so.
is. I'm gonna
I
check
think so.
right
Hold on.
now.
I don't know.
There
I'm
were
gonna
two-
check right now.
There were. They said on their Twitter. I remember that. Hold on.
That's disappointing.
I think
Well-
there's two of them. I think it's Space and Valiant.
Well,
I mean,
either
it's Space and
way,
Valiant.
I'm most
Yeah.
interested in Silk Thread in this game. Because I don't know if he's going to take over Tracer Duties from soon, which I doubt.
Yeah.
Or if he's going to flex onto something
Agilities
else.
and Space will be unable to play during preseason. Agilities will be able to at the start of the season, and Space will be eligible at the end of March.
Okay.
That's such a shame. Space is such a great player.
Yeah, so they won't be playing.
Here's the thing, though.
Shame about
You've
Canada's
still
gift
got
esports.
you've still got a really, really stacked team. You have
You still
this
do.
incredible tank lineup in Fate, Envy, and Nunlocked. That's really rock solid. You've got an awesome support squad in Kariv, Verbo, and they, they know what they're doing together. Kariv and Unko can both, offense, defense really well as support. And then, even if agility isn't in the picture, you've still got Grim Reality, Silk Thread, and Sue. That's a pretty scary, group of DPS players who I think will definitely be able to go up toe-to-toe with IDDQD, Nevix, and Dante.
Oh, for sure.
They'll be able to go pound for pound with them for sure, and that's where I think the superior tank line and support of Valiant is going to carry the day, and I'll give that to Valiant, I want to say 3-1.
That
I would
leads
say
us to the
4.
next
I would
game.
say full 4-0.
Yeah, no, I'll go 4-0, because honestly I think the Valiant lineup is stronger than Mayhem.
And now go to the last game of Wednesday, which is going to be Seoul versus the Dragons, Shanghai
Yeah.
Dragons. I say Seoul.
Oh, Soul for
I
sure.
think
Is it
everyone
really
would
close?
say
think,
Soul.
Yeah,
I
4-0.
think that's kind of an easy.
Yeah,
I don't think we have to really discuss that way too long.
It's kind of a softball pick, really.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to see them all play. I'll be
You know
excited to
what?
see
Oh, yeah, for
that,
sure.
but
Shanghai might be a top 4 team or a bottom 4 team. I don't think
Oh,
there's
yeah.
any in between. I have no clue who's on this roster.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I have a
know
bit of a
who's
clue
the
as someone who's
worst.
been around the Chinese scene, and I can say that for sure that Shanghai did not pick the best roster in China.
Yeah, they didn't grab Miraculous
Yeah.
Phoenix there.
But but I still have a bit of hope in this roster. I don't know that I think they're still not going to be that great.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, because my knowledge of the Chinese scene is somewhat limited, but they had a pretty dominant sort of stretch before the era of Miraculous Youngster began. Like, I thought...
Yeah,
the
LGD
team
were
they were
decent for a while.
Yeah, I thought they were winning a lot of tournaments leading into this. But yeah, the most...
I thought LGD
that-
LGD never actually won. Wait, they did win a qualifier. I don't think they won a major tournament though.
it'll be interesting to see. But I still think I'm still gonna put my money on Seoul for that one.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
At the end. But then this leads us to probably, I would say, the day we've all been waiting for is Thursday, December 7th. Our game starts first against Gladiators. We already talked about that. Then
I
probably
I
right
think
after
Spitfire
that,
4-0.
Yeah, and then
4-0
right,
Spitfire.
yeah,
Oh, for
and then
sure.
right afterwards, it's gonna probably be the most watched game out of the preseason, or at least this first round. Dallas Fuel versus Houston Outlaws. It's definitely gonna be the most viewed game.
That's gonna be super hype.
excited.
I am ready.
It's gonna be great to watch.
I mean, the rosters are both really, really strong. Everyone,
I wonder how
like,
they're
can't
gonna
wait.
play without Mendo in it, though.
I don't think it's going to matter too much.
Oh no,
I mean,
I
they
think
still
can't
have-
wait
they still
for
have people
Optic
like
fans
Jake
to come crashing down to earth.
and Linkser.
These people are the most optimistic. Oh man, they play for Optic Gaming. They're clutch. Apparently,
Yay.
it transcends games.
Get
They're
some
clutch.
we saw that in Dota
positivity.
quite recently.
Oh man.
I mean, I will say though, Fuel fans are pretty lit too.
Oh yeah, no,
Terrible joke.
Nice,
Oh, yeah.
nice
I'm
one.
gonna leave. But yeah, no, I'm very excited. I don't know who to really pick. I'm gonna lean a little bit more towards Dallas, mostly because most of the teams already worked with each other a lot already as Team Envy. I know with Houston they had the Corn Dogs, so that's like I think half of their team.
Oh no, it's most of it because it's their
Is it most?
it's their support
5.
line, it's their tank
Is it-
line, and Clockwork was also one of
That's
theirs.
what I was like. I couldn't remember how much of it actually was. So I guess they're kind of evenly matched in that type of way. They both already came from existing teams.
But here's the thing. Which of these teams absolutely raffle stomped the other in their previous
That's also very
matchups?
true. Yeah, no.
Envy absolutely dunked on FNRGFE.
With bringing out Siegel.
Apparently,
Yeah.
Everyone
getting
lost
top
like
4.
their collective garbage just seeing Siegel on stage again.
Yeah. Apparently, getting top 4 in a NA LAN is good enough to get you top 4 in Overwatch League as well, I guess. Because that's what everybody's hyping up Outlaws to be, which I just don't see happening.
I think they have the potential.
Oh yeah.
Like, I think they have the potential to get there. However, I don't think... I still think, you know, Spitfire, Fuel, and Soul are on a level of their own.
Yeah, for sure. Possibly
compared to
NYXL
the
in that as well.
Yeah,
I think
NYXL
New York's above them as well.
Yeah,
And
I think
speaking-
Houston could work. I think it's going to be either 3-1 or 4-0.
Yeah, I'm thinking
gonna
3-1,
be close.
possibly 3-2. I don't know if they play the fifth map like they did in Contenders, but maybe if there's potential for 3-2, I still think 3-1 Fuel will.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I think that Outlaws is going to pick up more than one, despite having the best logo in Overwatch League.
And speaking of logos, we are going to two of our favorite logo teams, New York versus Boston for the last game of the day. A very old rivalry, of course.
As a New Yorker, you know, I
Yep.
have my horse in this race.
I kind of want to see Boston do well just because I'm familiar with
From
Gamsu.
Manhattan, I feel
I'm
that.
familiar with Gamsu from when
Yeah.
he played in League of Legends, and I kind of want to see him do really well here as well. But I just don't know if they can really compete. I mean, New York's roster is pretty good.
Oh yeah.
You know, they got
like,
some
here's
pretty pretty big name Korean talent.
Yeah, I think, you know, when you look at Boston, the standouts are Kalios, Gamsu, and Kalex. They're really good. The rest of their roster, I'm not that high on. Like, for one, Striker, which, like, you pick someone from Rox Orcas, and you don't sign Giguri.
I don't
What the
understand
hell
that.
are you doing? What are you doing?
I don't understand why no
Maybe
one went for
funds? I don't
Gregory
know.
over. I don't understand why anyone didn't go for that.
Yeah, that
Maybe funds or
that blows
something?
me away. But here's the thing: I don't think Stryker is in a position where he can be like, "Yes, you're paying money for the like elite talent of Stryker." He's not one of those
gotta
guys who
Get
like
what
I
you pay
hear.
for.
Yeah, but like he's not one of those guys. Like he's not bad or anything, but he's not one of those guys who like I hear that name and I'm like that's not what I think. Like. Striker's not bringing the ruckus. And, like, when I see
man.
Giguri... Girl is so good.
I know.
She kicks so much
Going
ass.
out for blood here, I'm seeing. You're just like, it's not good enough for you, I'm gonna wreck his reputation.
Striker,
is not what I want. He
Striker.
must go down.
Striker, if you're listening to this hype-ass podcast, I don't think you are, but if you are, I'm sorry, I'm just being honest.
I mean, listen, we're expecting him. We're also expecting Blizzard to be listening on us.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
we're expecting them all to.
Hey,
Everyone should listen to us.
Hey
Blizzard.
Jake,
Everyone.
from Cloud9, I know you're listening too. Get the sponsorship.
Please, I want free merch.
Blizzard, hire me. I'm
I mean,
available.
they said they were excited for when we first started the podcast. We just got to keep going.
So this is the one thing, though, that I think about Boston. Who the hell is Naughty? And, like, I don't know.
I like that question.
Who the hell is naughty?
Out of context, love it. With context, it's fine.
Yeah, like, Boston Uprising, like, I'm trying to remember who, I think it was Flame, who posted this whole thing, like, this ranking he did of all the teams, where it was like, you know...
There was a ranking we talked about last week
Yeah,
over
but he was going
of all
like-
like the brands and everything. And
Oh, yeah. But he was
But he's-
like, you know, S tier, you got, like, Spitfire and Seoul. A tier, you got Dallas and blah, blah, blah. He's like, F tier, you got Fusion. XD tier, you have Boston Uprising. Which I'm like, that is the most savage thing I've ever heard in my life. So, yeah, New York 4-0.
I think New York
I
4-0.
agree. Quote me on that one,
Maybe
internet.
if Boston
Maybe
gets in the light.
5-0 somehow, because
5-0?
Boston's so bad.
It's the battle of
Unmercy,
XL.
like no mercy, completely going at them. 4 maps, not enough. Take one more, slay them to the ground. They'll never come back. I got it.
It's the battle of XL versus XD.
Maybe if Boston's struggling too much, they can sub in Tom Brady to play for them.
Ooh, boy.
Oh god.
Get that craft money in there.
Huck is gonna like come to my house and try and attack me.
They'll find where we all
I love
live.
you, Huck. I'm a fan of yours from StarCraft.
Just go back to
I'm sorry.
StarCraft.
Oh
I
god.
think that's all the games. At least that's happening. Is that all the games happening this
Well,
week?
Yeah,
the ones
that's all
that have
the-
been
Yeah, then
announced.
the ones that are
Yes.
happening
Yeah.
are determined by
Somehow
the
they
other
haven't
results.
announced Friday yet.
They haven't announced Friday or Saturday. I mean, listen, they gotta work on the visas, and so there's a bit of a backup when it comes to the schedule. It's no biggie. They'll figure it out as they go.
Yep.
I trust them. I trust Blizzard.
I do. They'll figure it out.
Yeah,
They'll figure
yeah.
it out.
That'll be pretty good.
I'm excited.
yeah.
I'm really
Yes.
excited.
I'm
Excited.
too. I'm also very excited for on the 6th when all that merch becomes available to buy.
Oh.
And
I'm legitimately
war
going to buy a
wallet.
You gotta
Spitfire
get those
sock.
socks. Get your
it's the
socks.
socks. I'm glad.
The socks are lit.
They are pretty lit.
They might be
I
the
mean,
best merch.
So
It's
gonna
the ones
come
where you
after
can,
me
like-
making fun of the socks. I'm sorry.
It's the one where you can like hide your nerd shame but still rep. If like your family
That's fair.
doesn't get it, you can
My
rock the
family
sock.
doesn't get me anyways.
Just
No one
wear the XL
understands me.
logo, and then nobody will understand anyway.
Yeah, no one.
I
Those-
mean, it does
those are-
look like graffiti though.
Yeah.
So
They'll just think you're a hipster.
They'll be like, "Oh, hey, what's up with the
What's
weird
up with
X's on your socks? You okay, buddy? Everything's going alright in life?
Is that a band?
is that a band?
But yeah, all that will become available December 6th. They have not exactly said when it's going to become available. I'm guessing, I don't know, probably either right before the tournament starts or afterwards. I wouldn't think afterwards because it's going to end like probably beyond midnight, so probably before the tournament, before the preseason.
Yeah.
But of course we already know there's going to be socks, t-shirts, and hats. I want stickers. And decals.
Badly.
everywhere.
Yes.
I want
Didn't
it for
even
my
think
car.
about that.
I want it. Like,
That's a
I
good
want my
idea.
car to look disgusting. League covered in stickers.
What
okay?
I want is one of those like watermark tattoos, the ones that
Oh,
come
yeah.
off, you know?
Excuse,
I want one of
just
those.
Get a real just get a real tattoo.
I want stickers of the most brutal insults that Monte Cristo comes up with over the course of the season.
Get a Monte Cristo poster, just lined
did-
of all
did
his
you-
most
did you-
famous quotes.
Did you see his response to like the San Francisco Shock's Twitter account tried to roast him? And he,
Oh, with
Did
the
they?
hair thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah, but did you see his response to the hair?
I don't
No, hold
remember.
on. What is it? I gotta
Well,
find
yeah,
that.
no, like it's a video of him doing analysis on the World Cup, and he had like one stray hair flying into his face, and Shock,
San
posts a video of like it slowly zooming in on him talking like on the hair, just all by myself. And they're like, we love you, Monty, but you got to keep that hair on the payload. And then Monty's like, I'll be amazed if your team even reaches a payload. And
Also, some kind of interesting news if anyone's interested. Apparently, there's going to be an AMA on the competitive
Nate
Overwatch
Nanzer.
subreddit with Nate. Was it Nanzer?
Nanzer? Are you kidding me?
Nanzer. Yeah, he's going to be
Thanos
hosting.
from Infinity War, actually.
Yeah, he's going to be hosting one. Apparently, it's going to be
Nate
happening
Thanos.
tomorrow from 10 to 11 a.m. Pacific, which means I don't know what that is my time. It's
I
too
don't
late
think
to
we're
figure
going
that
to
out.
be up by the time that is
It's
ready.
Pacific time. It's
Is it-
Pacific
it's-
time.
Okay.
It's like,
I'm not sure when exactly this goes up, but yes.
oh, this is up. Oh, wow. I'm really, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, maybe not, but hey, that's happening, so at least we know, and whoever's maybe watching might know. I'm interested to find out, like, more of the inside, like, maybe more business inside parts of Overwatch
Yeah.
that people might ask.
I'm curious
'Cause,
about
like,
a lot of stuff.
Because we might know all the we don't even know all the coaching stuff just yet, but that's also a huge part, like what Blizzard allows to happen. So I'm interested to see that. So that's happening. If anyone else is also interested to learn about that. So yeah.
Yeah, that should be pretty sick.
All right,
All right.
play us out.
Yep. I've become a sleepy sheepy, and
Sleepy sheepies.
it's time
We all are.
to rest
I
my
got-
little sleepy head.
I got finals. Sleep is for the weak.
Oh.
I have finals in
Time's
a
a
week and a
cram.
half.
Oh yeah, I got 4-page paper to do by like 9:30 a.m.
That's
tomorrow.
so much work.
So, yeah, I have a good
All right.
Monster Energy
Well,
drink.
Since you have so much work, I'll close this out quickly then. So, please put your tray table and return your seat to their full upright positions as we are coming in for a landing. So thank you for listening to our podcast, and we hope to see you in the skies real soon. Thank you for listening. We'll probably be on next week to discuss lots more Overwatch League stuff. So thank you and good night.
Stay classy.
Bye, guys.
Bye.